Action. Hello, people!
Animals and creatures.
Welcome to Art for Well-Beings,
That's beings with an S. It's plural.
a show to end all shows, a time to watch, learn, listen.
Hear, see, feel, be, do, have.
Art, and more art.
Visual art, human art.
So, without further delay, let's give a warm welcome to our host,
Local celebrity.
Judy Gittleson.
Welcome again to all of you out there in TV land, small ones, big ones, everyone. I'm your host, local celebrity Judy Gittleson, and I'm so excited. I'm beyond excited. I'm thrilled to be here today and be with you. And I have my marvelous co-host with me today, Kate Thurston. Welcome, Kate.
Thank you, Judy.
It's wonderful to have you be here, and you're here in your holiday spirit, yes?
Yes.
And beyond Kate, I have a very special guest. We've got the Hanukkah candles, and just beyond the Hanukkah candles, welcome Jesus.
Thank you, Judy. It's very nice to be here.
It's a really special occasion, and it's a really special occasion because here you are, Jesus, close to your birthday, right?
Yes, that's true. I am just about to turn 19.
Oh, interesting. And beyond Jesus, I've got a cast of characters. Well, I don't know if they're characters. The Dissenters. Welcome some marvelous women, some of the most important women in my life. Amanda Sherlock. Welcome, Amanda.
Thank you.
Keita Greenberg and Barbara Rusgarian. And Amanda, can you speak and tell us what your job is today?
Thank you. Well, as you know, I have a regular spot on your show, Manners and Grammar by Amanda. And today, given the content, I felt that it was important to expand manners and grammar to incorporate good taste. And so we're here to perhaps make some comments about the tastefulness of what's happening here today.
That's cool. So let's see how we can push that taste barometer all the way to the right. And let's start off with a hot spot. Jesus, can I ask you just one or two questions before we go to a film?
That would be fine.
Okay. So you are, how old did you say you are? Almost 19?
Well, I'm almost 19.
And you were born 2011 years ago?
Well, yes. Let me explain that.
Yeah, really.
It's more reborn than born because I'd say I was reborn 19 years ago to very loving parents.
Uh-huh. And we're going to find all about your family. We're going to hear about your family, your youth, your point of view. And women, is there something you'd like to say about his age? Is there a piece that I'd like to ask you if there's something you'd like to contribute about his age right there?
Well, we would like to see how this all fits together. We're looking forward to that.
Okay, good. Well, I hope we don't let you down. And then Jesus, while we're sort of waiting for things to line themselves up, you know, in the, what is it called, the resurrection or the, what is that called? Referendum, resurrection?
What's the word?
We'll come to that
Yeah,
word.
we'll
You know,
come to
I'm Jewish, right? And
Yes.
you were born Jewish, right?
Yes, I was. Can I talk about this?
You can talk.
Okay.
Talk about it.
Well, I was.
You know what, Jesus? I'm going to
yeah.
interrupt you. It's such a big
Okay.
topic.
Yeah, I think we should save it.
I want to hear about it.
Yeah.
I want to
Save
get
it
to
until
know
after.
you. I want to point out the picture of you as a baby to your left. And we're going to come back to that one. And
Yeah.
then I want to point out to the right the cross,
Yes.
an important symbol in your life, right?
Yes. Sort of a life and death.
And now we're going to go on to see how that cross was created. And you and I together painted a cross in the Art for Wellbeing studio,
Yes.
if I'm correct.
Very nice studio.
Yeah. And are we ready to go to a film yet? And welcome to today's Paint and Response. And it's a special show because it's a special time of year. And I'm here today with my special guest. Welcome, Jesus.
Thank you, Judy. It's great to be here. It's been a while since I've been back just in this area.
And we're going to be painting something that's really special to you, a cross. We're going to paint it in 3 stages. We're going to do a black gesso, which is a really cool thing. One of my favorite painters right now is Caravaggio, and really lit, as someone said, or like lightning struck. So we're going to paint a really dark background of black gesso, and then we're going to come and paint a lighter, very verdant cross. So we're going to start with black gesso, painting the entire board. Let's go. And here's the black gesso, and you can pick one of these guys. Ready?
Ready.
and we're back. And that was really fun painting with you, Jesus. And now we're going to talk about what's behind us, behind Kate and I, and also what's behind Jesus. And Jesus, to your left is a painting of you as a baby, right? And Kate, do you see that painting over there? And can you tell me what you think of that painting?
I like it a lot. It reminds me of monkeys when I go to the zoo and see them. I really like it.
Cool. And that's interesting that it was mistaken at one point as a monkey, as a baby monkey. But there's a really interesting story in there. Jesus, do you want to tell me a two-center about what you think about that?
Well, yes, actually, it's very the monkey is sort of a misconception, as I mean I understand how others may believe in evolution, but I do not believe that this is a monkey, because that would assume that we descended from monkeys, and that's a whole, I don't believe in evolution thing, but I do understand others who may have those beliefs.
Well, Jesus, that's a real hot button right there. That's a
Yeah.
hot button for a lot of people. And dissenters, I just want to pick your brain on this painting and hear what your comments were about what the response to that is. So if we can go over to you.
I like it as a painting.
You do?
Yes,
And how
I
does
love
that-
it as a painting, as a work of art. As a description of Jesus, well, we could say that it is. That's fine with me. I don't dissent upon the picture of a baby, any baby, because at Christmas time, all babies are honored as Jesus.
Aha. That was
we
moving.
We
Yes.
can say, a holy baby
A holy
has been
baby.
born, you know.
And
If you're lucky
Keita?
enough to be born on Christmas.
Yeah. Thank you, Barbara.
I like the redness of the baby's lips, and it's a surprise. You wouldn't expect such attention to be on the baby's mouth particularly, but the redness of the baby's lips reminds me of what you're going to see later on in the red figure on the other side of you, and it reminds me of the beginning of people as being from the clay of the earth. And so I'm brought back to sort of the beginnings of all the people in that. And I think it looks like this basicness of that everything is going to come from. And I agree that I like it, thinking about it just as a painting, that its origins, your idea of Jesus as this baby, for me, it doesn't matter quite so much as the figure kind of coming into its own, kind of just almost unfolding. I like that.
Well, I'll speak to that. And Amanda, tell me what your...
Well, you know, so one of the things that I've been learning the more I've got to know you and the more I've been around art is that art, as this show, is a vehicle to make people think. And it isn't necessarily what you expect. And so, and the other thing that's so great is that you don't have to agree with anything. It's the artist's view, and it's the artist's ability to express themselves. So whether this is a baby or whether it's the baby Jesus, I don't know. It's your interpretation, so that's great.
Cool. Well, thank you all for sparking a conversation about art. And what I want to say to the thing that struck me, Keita, was the essential, the primal, the of the earth, and the story, the backstory. And it's neat to discuss a piece of art, and then I get to tell you the backstory. And the backstory about this painting was I was very sick with pneumonia, and I had a newborn. Daisy, my daughter, was about a year then, not even a year, 6 months, and I got really sick with pneumonia. And I thought, if there's one thing when I get well that I can paint, what would that be? And I'm Jewish, and I thought, I'm going to paint the baby Jesus. And the Bible has been fodder, and Jesus and religious icons have all been fodder for important pieces of my work. And essential, the thing that I really liked was essential and out of the earth, and that it doesn't matter about the baby. I loved what you said, Barbara, about every baby is You know, at Christmas time, we're celebrating every baby. And that was really a nice conversation. And Kate, thank you about the monkey part. I love the primalness of monkeys too. And as an artist, what we do too is we communicate, or what is a cool thing that we can do is we communicate about that which is essential. And so somehow each of you picked up on that. I really appreciate all of that. And then we're going to talk to Jesus a little bit more now. Before we talk to Jesus, behind me is a painting called Girlfriend, Squirrel Friend, Around the World Friend. We're going to come back to that, but right now we're going to talk to your and my friend Jesus. And I have a couple of questions that I've prepared, but not too tough, and I want to hear what you think. So here you are at age 19, and I just want to hear about what it felt like. Do you remember being a baby? Let's start with that.
Well, yes. I mean, as I was reborn, I do kind of remember how I was as a baby, and then even before that, like my very first birth, I'm kind of putting together these memories from what I've read.
From photos, or from what you've seen in pictures?
Well, yeah, paintings, from what I've seen in the Bible with the New Testament. I'm kind of piecing it together, so it's bits and pieces.
It's bits and pieces. It's
Yeah.
kind of like, yeah, okay. And Kate, I wanted to know, did you have a question that you wanted to ask Jesus? And
Yes, I do.
okay.
When I feel down or don't feel well, is it good to come to Jesus and talk to him about it?
Well, it's a very good thing, because you, as people have known, if you just talk to Jesus or talk to me, then I am very well. I very much know how to make you feel better.
You performed a lot of miracles in your life, huh?
Yes, I have.
What's your favorite miracle? What's the favorite
Well, it's hard. I mean, a favorite miracle is a hard thing to choose, because it's like you're helping all these people. But I guess a favorite one. I mean, a classic is obviously the 5,000 fish and the bread, and just when I it felt really good to feed all those people.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, that's
Yes.
really a... And dissenters, do you have any questions for Jesus before we continue with the dissenting? Because we'll get there. Nothing.
No, thank you.
Okay, you're good, you're good. Okay, and Jesus, we have two Bibles, the one that was written before. Which is your favorite? Let me put it to you straight.
Which testament?
Which, the Old Testament or the New Testament?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, this Old Testament,
You're not in it.
Yeah.
You're not in it. It doesn't feature you.
I don't mean to like kind of be self-serving, because I'm Jesus and I'm not known to not be very self-serving. But the Old Testament, it's just kind of, well, I mean, I want to say old, but I know there's a better word. But the New Testament, it's kind of it features it's very important. It has a lot more of the teaching.
Your messages
Yes.
are a little stronger.
Yeah,
than that.
the messages in general are stronger there.
And then, can you tell us your earthly father, Joseph, right?
Yes.
He was a little disappointed in you because you kind of didn't pick up the craft, right?
Well, yes, because my relationship with my father it's a very difficult thing to talk about, because it's just he wanted me to be a carpenter. It's we kind of fought.
You didn't
yeah.
part on such good terms. Yeah.
Yeah, I sometimes stayed with God.
And can you tell us a little bit about the crucifixion? What was that like? Was that a tough time?
Well, that's another interesting question, because as I've said, I was reborn, and as part of that, I mentioned the bits and pieces of memory, and I don't remember too much of this crucifixion. I've read about it. It's kind of a sort of an out-of-body experience.
Okay, well, that's enough about you for a little while. Behind me is a painting called Girlfriend, Squirrel Friend, Around the World Friend. And it's about humans' relationships with animals and the world. And I went to Yosemite with a friend of mine, Philip, and I started finding squirrel figurines kind of appealing. And I think that I appreciated them for their earnest effort, this high-strung effort. And so then I used squirrels kind of as an analogy of the animals of the world. And I know you've had a good relationship with animals, right? Do you want to talk about this painting and your relationship with animals?
Well, yeah, I'll start with this painting and the kind of squirrel aspect of it. I tend to find all animals equal. I find them all to be created as equals, but there is some survival of the fittest. But basically, I do think of all animals as kind of, I don't like hold one over another. They're all kind of on equal ground despite some of the the conflict between, but that's a different story. As far as this painting, it's the squirrel aspect. It shows how important they are because we think of them as such these little creatures kind of being run over by cars. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've just ridden, and I shed a tear when I see these squirrels just lying on the streets.
And can we go over to the dissenters for a minute and just hear your opinion on the painting? How about we start with Kita? Are you ready to?
Certainly. I am not thinking of roadkill when I see this. I'm thinking of this squirrel as having so much character, and it's such a great kind of mix between toy. It looks like a sort of like a little wooden toy, beautifully painted, and yet its face is so evocative. It's got this relationship with the main girlfriend, the main figure. It's like there's definitely like lots of history and things happening between the two of them. And so even though the stance is sort of more wooden than you'd ever see a living squirrel, this squirrel has got something going on between the human character and itself, and they almost have I feel like I'm like in the middle of some conversation that they've got going on, and the main human character's got big hand open. They're clearly having a animated world together.
Oh, thank you. And Amanda, do you have?
Yeah, I love this painting. I love the multi-panel paintings. They're just so interesting to me. And in this one in particular, I love the squirrel, and I love squirrels anyway. But what I love is the sideways view of the main person in it, and also the hand just looking to the world. It's sort of, I get the feeling of the world is my oyster, the world is mine. And I love the expressiveness.
Cool. And Barbara, do you have something you want to talk about this painting?
I like the innocence of the squirrel, and then the compassionate expression of the human. And I do like the composition a lot. I think and the colors are beautiful. I like everything about the painting.
Thank you. And I love what you shared about the painting, the three of you together. And I like the idea that with a multi-panel painting, you can show perspective in all different areas. You can use a panel to divide an area. You can have it come way forward. You can exaggerate it. And Kate, we're going to go to something in a minute, but I wanted to get your 2 cents on the painting behind us before we go to something.
I like the different shapes and colors and how it all comes together. I think it's cool.
Thank you. And oh, somebody snuck on camera with us. Welcome, Anne. And we're so excited today to have Anne Thurston and Kate's mother, Anne, and we're going to be entertained. You're going to entertain us. Are you ready to entertain us?
Yeah.
All right, well, welcome. Go ahead.
Okay, we're going to do Amazing Grace. And you can all join in on the last verse, or the last chorus.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas great that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved.
you. That was great. So this has been a great show and a great year, and we have gone round the globe, and here we are courting, teasing, playing out conversations about lots of religions, about art, about people, about evolution, about everything. And I want to thank you, Kate Thurston, for being with us today.
You're welcome.
And Ann Thurston, I want to thank you. And it's always a pleasure to have you guys. You have a regular spot here. And I really want to thank our friend Jesus.
Thank you, Judy. And I, just before we go, I would like to bless the dissenters for.
And I'd like to thank the dissenters. It's great to have you in the conversation. And we're going off with, what's the name of this one?
Silent Night.
Silent Night.
All right.
Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all